She doesn't have anything to say. She doesn't have anything to say. Carmelita, Kamala, Scamala, and Coach, the T-Boy, the Coach, Mr. Stolen Valor, they have nothing to say. Did you see her latest one? She's at a McDonald's. I got to start here. I was making fries and the golden arches. I don't even know what the hell she's talking about. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Let me see if I can make this safe, ladies and gentlemen, and clear to you all. And thank you, Kelly. By the way, Kelly McKinnon. And thank you, Philip Cervone. And by the way, thank you all for watching Mrs. L's first live stream. It was a doozy. Thanks for that one. The Lynn's Warriors. It was more information packed than you could imagine. She's a natural. That's why I love her. But my friends, I want to just explain this to you as we speak. And this is what you have to tell your friends. These people have nothing to say. They are hoping you're going to notice nothing. They're hoping that you're just going to just kind of look the other way and She has nothing to say. It's the most incredible thing in the world. The most incredible thing for me to point out to you. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, she really thinks she's going to be able to do this for 87 days? 88 days? 80, hang on a minute. It's going to be 87 days. And here's the part that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I have. The guy who was the biggest flop, the biggest mistake is the coach. The tampon Timmy. I never saw this coming. I never saw this one coming. He is worse than even they thought. Sham the scam. Unbelievable. Let me just go back and tell you what needs to be done and what will be done. Okay? First, you've got to pay no attention to this incremental little stuff about this poll says this poll says that. Don't worry about it. Albania Hernandez says, Mr. Lipman, the person that it was predicted the last 10, says Kamala would win. Mr. Lipman is full of beans, as my mother would say. Read the conditions of his, quote, prediction. This is the biggest con. Read, Albania, the conditions of his, well, if this, don't even worry about it. You cannot say this. Anybody who even begins 89 days, 87, 88 days before, actually 87 days before the election. I don't care. Who is he? You always hear this. For the man who predicted the last 10 elections. For the man who... Did you ever go back and check this out? No. No. James Carville says this. Bill Maher says this. Paris Hilton says this. Emmanuel Lewis, TV's Webster, says this. A man who used to work with... Who cares? Let's go through this right now. First and foremost, look at the message. They are trying to tell you not to notice that she is taking there is no interviews. There is nothing that is happening. Nothing. George Lenz even says, would and will are two entirely different things. Yes, indeed. This Lipman fellow, I don't know why. I don't you can't base this on anything. You don't even have any data yet on anything. It just started. And he's predicting. It's like, wait a minute. You've got one of two choices. And if he doesn't, that's it. Let me ask you something, Albania, and thank you. How many of these folks, how many of these Hollywood types said, I'm leaving? If Donald Trump is elected, I'm leaving the country. How many times have you heard that? Anybody follow up on that one? No. Anybody think about following up? No. This is a distraction. Anything for you to say, excuse me, I'm not talking. If Mr. Lippman's going to run, that's fine. Let me look at this right here. First, their plan is simple. The people are stupid, they think. They think you're stupid. They think you're just going to believe this. They think you're just going to just notice the fact that she hasn't been speaking to anyone. Do you know what I'm saying? She hasn't spoken to anyone. No, nothing. When they ask about what about the stolen dollar, what about this, she answers nothing. She makes these ridiculously stupid, meaningless, and people are noticing. You can't do this when people give this vague, general nothing. I'm telling you. She's not saying anything. And now her latest thing is she shows up in jeans and a shirt and she's at a McDonald's. I used to work here. What garbage is this? So what are you saying? What's your message? I'm just like you. I don't want somebody like me. I want a president. What are you talking about? They don't know. There are instructions from the mainstream media, the sock puppet media, instructed. You have to, whatever you do, don't, anything that's remotely negative about Trump, let them have it because we don't have anything. The media are absolutely bought and sold. Let me give you an example of something which has nothing to do with this, but is one of my favorite subjects because I love subjects out of nothing. Years ago, I remember, well, I got such a kick out of it. It's called the Rula Lenska routine. This was years ago. It was for Alberto VO5, this hairspray. She goes, hello, I'm Rula Lenska. And when I go out, I prefer that my hair is lacquered with Alberto VO5. And I used to ask my mother, who the hell is Rula Lenska? I don't know. And it was a big joke in my house. Hey, she's on again. Who? Rula Lenska. Who's Rula Lenska? I don't know. But they said she's somebody special. There she is, a chick, you know, they're doing the pictures. He goes, yes, darling. She has the feather boa. Yes. Stage door. Yes. Yes, I'm, the adoring fans. Who's Rula? What is this? Who is this? It's the media. Next thing you know, she's famous. Why? For being Rula Lenska. They can tell you anything they want. Nelson A says, I am not a conspiracy theorist. Well, you should be. You should be a conspiracy analyst. But anything can occur nowadays on the debate. What chance is she has an earpiece to help her out? Let's say you... a media feed question ahead of time. Okay, first of all, Nelson, good question. And Johnny Maz's passes, your sound is off. Sounds like you're in the restroom. Okay, thank you. I spent a lot of money for that effect, and I appreciate that. I'll get your questions. Freedom says she had 4 years with her daddy Joe to fix all the issues they created and blaming all on Trump. She is all talk and no backbone. Action speaks volumes. Trump 2024. Indeed. Let's go back to this great question here. An earpiece to help her with questions. Do you know why that is not at all going to occur? Do you have any idea why that is not going to occur? Any idea? An earpiece. Anybody? Think about this. And by the way, it's not a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory would be that two people, how do I say this? You know, I'm wondering about something. Let me see something. I'm wondering if my... That's good. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. A conspiracy theory would be that that Carmelita conspired with someone. That's not what you're really saying. What you're saying is that, do you think somebody would just give her an earpiece, an IFB? Do you think so? That's what you're asking. You're asking a very, very simple question. Do you think somebody would give her an earpiece? So it's not really conspiracy theory. The spirit, and I'm serious, because what you mean is, do you think something underhanded was coming? The conspiracy theory deals with, do you think two people arranged for her to? That's really not the issue. The issue is she's going to have an earpiece. So it's not a conspiracy theory, just to let you know. I have worked with IFBs, and they are the worst. Okay? The worst. If you don't know what you're doing. If somebody is talking, they use sometimes. Rumor has it, years ago, Pacino would use this earpiece. He would forget his lines, and they kind of give you a feed. But if somebody were to talk to you and on an earpiece, it throws you off. And if you don't know how to do it, you get this look. You'll say, for example, and that's why we must be unburdened by the past. And you get that. It's the most dangerous thing ever. Giving her the questions ever before is another story. You see, if anybody else, you don't need to do this. You were a U.S. senator. You have debated thousands of times. You have done this so many times. You know the issues inside and out. And no matter what they tell you, you will have gone through debate prep. You will have understood, but you intuitively understand what is going on. You don't need any help. It's the easiest thing in the world. But she is an idiot. And this is the part that nobody seems to understand. You do. And this is absolutely the God's honest truth. She is an idiot. Now, they're going to give her some issues a couple times. They're going to give her some issues. They're going to maybe give it to her ahead of time, but it's not going to matter. I told you this, and I want you to remember this. September the 10th. This is the date. Trump has got to understand what this thing is. She is going to be scared out of her mind. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is going to be the only time she will have been kept away from everything. Do you hear what I'm saying? She will have been kept away from everything. She is going to be scared out of her mind. And what I want you to do, President Trump, is listen to me. First, you're going to give her the worst debate performance ever. You want this to be the subject of every kind of TikTok mashup, whatever the hell you want to call it, that nobody has ever seen before. That's our goal, to humiliate her. I'm going to tell you why. And you're not going to do anything bad. It's going to be all attitude. First and foremost, a couple of things you're going to remember. At some point, no particular order, you're going to have to know when. You're going to have to turn to her and say, what? What? Do you write this? Does anybody know what she just said? Does anybody? Text me that, dude. What? That's it. She will freak out. Everybody will be laughing at home. People will be rolling. and bars and taverns and pubs and parties. People are going to be, and you're going to see, you're going to think about that raucous kind of a Ricky Lake, people slapping, high-fiving, dropping the mic. That's the moment you want. So at one point you're going to say, what? Does anybody know what this woman is talking about? Am I the only one? What are you talking about? Do you write this stuff? What is this? Does that make any sense to you? Is it me, Mr. Trump, President Trump? I mean, come on. We've got to say this. Do you think you're going to be able to go to some Chinese interpreter for Xi Jinping and they're going to say, what? And Xi Jinping is going to say, excuse me, pardon me, sir. He's going to tell his interpreter, what the hell are you telling me? Mr. General Lissimo, whatever. That's what she said. That's not what she said. That's what she said. You're telling me she said this? Yeah. What does it mean? I don't know what it means. And Putin, who normally is Mr. Cool, is going to say, what? She said, what? What does that mean? I don't know. Is that a code? I don't know. Unburdened. Is she doing that one again? So that's one thing. And then at some point, and this is the thing I'm telling you, 2 points he's going to get in. I don't care. What are they going to do? Call it off? Say, you can't, we're going to stop this? You're going to stop this? Do you think when you're dealing with Putin, when you're dealing with Xi Jinping or Erdogan or Kim Jong-un, you can say, excuse me, time out? Have you ever seen people in boxing, these tough guys that get into the ring with somebody and they say, all right, time out? There's no time out. You can quit. There's no time out. Mr. President, make sure you point. Pointing throws people off like you can't believe. If George Kakopoulos is going to be there, the president's got to say, not now, George. And then continue. Show complete and utter contempt for the system. I'm dead serious. You want people to say, did you see that? I love that guy. They're going to be playing it over and over and over. And that one debate, listen to Uncle Lenny. That one debate will last forever. They will be playing this. You'll see it in TikTok memes. Our friends at Silicon Valley, you'll hear music behind it. You'll hear the Jaws theme. You'll hear Rocky. You'll hear he'll be called the gangster. He'll be they will go crazy. And he's got to say, so he's got to remember these lines. Mr. President, not now, George. It's like, listen, little boy, I'm talking. Contempt. Utter contempt. We'll love it. Why? Because it's ridiculous anyway. And then you turn to her and say, do you believe that Israel is committing genocide in Palestine, in Gaza? Yes or no? Not now, George. Answer the question, because that's going to be the first thing on your desk if through some event or mistake or something extremely shady happens. I know about your ballot harvesting. I know what's going on right now in Pennsylvania. I know all about that. My man, Dom Luker, read what's going on. They're doing it. This is what I've been telling you. They're doing it in front of everybody. They're doing it right in front of your face. These people have no bones about this whatsoever. None. They're incredible, these people. They don't give a damn about you or anybody else. But going back to that question, answer the question. That's either a yes or no. Do you believe that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza? Yes or no? Why is that important? Now, most people here, you understand, and most Americans have no idea. They, what difference? Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. Why? Because I want to go after. I want to show you. I want to show you. And I want to remember, he's also going to break down the image. You listen to what I'm saying. After he does the debate, then he does one of these. He comes forward and he starts saying, now let's look if we can at this debate. Here is when I ask Kamala the question. Look at her face. Look at her face. Do you know what's happening right now in that area? Do you have any idea? I do. Do you know what's happening right now regarding Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Aqsa Brigade, the Houthis, Lebanon, Jordan, shall I go on? The West Bank, East Berlin, come on, Abu Mazen, the Philadelphia corridor. I mean, do you know what's happening? Mr. Cool Miser says Trump should say he will Poseidon Joe and Hunter pardon for their, what does it say? Trump, I'm going to read this. Trumps should say he will Poseidon Joe and Hunter for their testimony about the coup. You know what? I would say it just like that. And she'd say, what? And I would say, you heard what I said. Don't play stupid. Mr. Cool Miser said, thank you, Cool. You heard what he said. Answer the man. Judas Goat Barbecue says, I want to see Kamala Harris to try the ploy she used with Pence and recently with protesters at her rally. I am speaking as she holds up her hand. Hit the like button. That's what she should also say. Thank you for that. Let me go back to what I'm saying. And by the way, you can't shut me up. I'm just asking you a question, Kamala. I'm asking you a question. I'm not asking yes or no. You've got the whole world right now. You've got the ICC, the ICJ. You've got the World Court. You've got Bibi Netanyahu who is going to have warrants out for us. What are you going to do? And the very first thing is you're going to go to the prosecutors, South Africa, and say either yes or no. This is genocide. Do you know the statute? Have you read it? Do you know what the terms are about the basically the systematic targeting of a particular people and hold apart with the intent? Do you know what it's like? We're not talking about cattle cars and death camps. Do you understand what you're talking about? Apartheid? Apartheid? Do you think this is apartheid? South Africa thinks so. Do you think Nelson Mandela knows something about apartheid? Do you think so? Kevin says, even if they mute him, she will still hear him. Oh, yes, yes, because they're right there. You're right about that. Follow me on this one. Would you go? Nelson Mandela believed there was. And they're going to be saying, why is Trump bringing this up? To show she doesn't have the guts. Because she knows, first off, they told her, don't you do anything to piss off or to alienate either AIPAC or Israel, whatever it is. And we don't know what you're going to do. Yeah, but I don't care what you do. You cannot do this, Kamala. Well, what do I say? I got to say something. And if you say, no, it's not a genocide, you just pissed off half of your constituents. Sparky says, don't remember, I've mentioned it to you, Lionel. Kamala uses the same campaign consultants as Gavin Newsom. They're known for not publishing positions lest their candidate be held to them. Yes, I've heard that they use the same so that they can basically leverage one against the other. They have the same opposition research. And you're right about this. Ultimately, it's going to be Gavin down the road. Gavin down the road. But Sparky, this is right up your alley, though. Let me explain this to you. You've got this group of people, and I'd love for Trump to go, now I'm going to talk to my friends, the Democrats. Now, I know you're not going to vote for me. I understand this, but I feel for you. And let me tell you why. First of all, to the young people. When you believed in Bernie Sanders, and I saw what you did, I liked it. You had a spirit and a fire, and you had a real determination. And Mrs. L and I saw that in Brooklyn one day. Cold as hell, which makes no sense, and they're out there. Correction. Sparky, you never need to correct yourself, ever. Remember, when you use the same people, they have the same opposition research. But go back to this. Here's Trump. Trump says, I want to talk to the young people. While you had faith, while you believed in Bernie Sanders, you know what they did? That's what they did to you. They told you, shut up. We're going to put in Hillary. Hillary. I don't want to hear from you. We fixed it. Yeah, but the votes, the hell with the votes. We don't care about you and your votes. We're the Democrats. What are you talking about? We do whatever we want. We don't care about you. And there was Bernie. Remember when Bernie was crying? Remember that? And they also leveraged, they said, we know about your wife too. Remember they threatened his wife about, I don't know what the hell it was. But Bernie said, okay. And he shut up and he moved away. Okay, fine. And they scare him. Bernie, do you see what's going on in Israel right now? Aren't you going to say something? Aren't you et tu, Bernie? Aren't you going to say anything about this? No, you've got him scared too now? What's going on with this? And then they turned around these people, their friends, your Democrats. And 14, 15 million of you wanted Joe Biden. See a picture of Joe on Rehoboth Beach, just passed out. He's under why they're doing this. I know why they're doing this. They're reminding you that they made the right decision by him stepping down and Kamala saving the day. There's a picture of him under some umbrella, again, with his granddaughter. He's passed out. I mean, it looks like he's dead. But that's beside the point. So let me tell you what you young people did. They're going after you, and they're going after all these other people. Now, AIPAC, and you might say to yourself, well, first of all, they got rid of that, what's his name, Bowman, the guy who pulled the fire alarm. Thank God, get rid of him. He was a nut. Well, good for AIPAC. Then there was Cori Bush. Well, good for AIPAC. And you know who they've got targeted next? Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. Okay, well, let's hear it for them. I mean, when they primary you, they primary you. So what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do? Hey, Kamala, answer these people. What do you say to these folks, your Democrats, who believed in Joe Biden, and look what you're doing now. All of a sudden, you came out of nowhere. What do you have to say for yourself? She's not going to answer the question. And that's why Trump's got to say to the Democrats, I'm answering it for you. They're not going to answer you. They don't care about you because Barack and Michelle and this one, they love to pull that black business whenever they think it's appropriate. And they do it so poorly. You should be offended by that. What is this? What is this? You're going to start singing. I don't know what. The best question ever. This was the question. And I played the other night for you. They asked her, who is your favorite living rapper? It's only with rap, you have to say living because so many people are whacked. And she said Tupac. And he said living. And she never answered the question. Let me explain something. Miss Shonov, hey girl, how you doing? All right. How you doing, baby? Kamala, who is your favorite living rap star? Oh, I like Tupac. Tupac is dead. What? He dead. He dead. Damn. Oh, who's he gonna be? Well, hang on now. You sure he's dead? He's dead. Mm-hmm. Dead, huh? I didn't even know he was sick. They killed the man. What? They what? This isn't it. That's like going to Little Italy or Arthur Avenue and go, hey, forget about it. And you go, excuse me? I'm sorry, basically what? Edie Crowley says, Kamala Maling Dong is too easy to read. Body language. Oh, yes. Thank you, Edie. Imagine going to, seriously, to, downtown, wherever, Brooklyn or Staten Island. Oh my God. Hey, forget about it. Hey, about Mungabagoo. Hey, what are you doing? Hey. What is that? Hey, mean, yeah. Hey, wait. What are you doing? Is this your version of Italian? Hey, stop doing that. And quit saying forget about it. It will be the same thing. It's patronizing. It's rude. It shows this utter and total contempt for a culture. And all she had to do for a stupid question is, I'm not a follower of hip hop. I'm R&B. I'm Motown. That's what I do. Sorry. And then be real. Keeping it real. Now, after she just goes nowhere and her wait until these folks show up. Wait till they show up at the convention. You're not going to believe it. Georgie Len says, pandering's an art form. Kamala is no artist. And she's no Jack Kennedy. That's right, Georgie. Mr. Cool Miser, thank you. And the Sunday go to meat and bun. Bow, bow, bow. Hey, I'm sorry. Now, the other, what? Yeah, did you see those jeans? They didn't look, I didn't want to say anything. Those like mom jeans, kind of. They didn't look right. She wants to be the president. I was here. Do it in the black voice. What? Do it in the black voice. I got to do the black voice again? Yeah, I'm just talking about McDonald's. Do it in the black voice. All right. How does it go again? I showed them. Okay. It's just, and this is almost says, I'm black. Well, then be black. She can't. Anyway. Now, the other one, I'd say, yes or no? Kamala. Yes or no? What do you think about a man? A man that goes into a boxing ring, beats the hell out of a woman, and we give him a medal. Do you think men and women are different at birth? Yes or no? Big Dick out of Chicago says, better than me delivering down Biden Expressway and tell him, get out of here. Yes, I love that. Remember she said, don't come here. Remember that? 18 to 24, you're stupid. Remember that? And then she told people around there, don't come here. Don't come around here no more. Okay, so let me ask you something. So, Kamala, do you think men are men and women are women? Answer the question. Hang on, George. I'm not going to tell you again. Back off. This is for the marbles, George. That's the most important issue there is. Do you think that men should be... Did you see this woman, Lucia? What's her name? Lucia Riker. I think her name is Lucia Riker. She's out of the Netherlands. She is the most dangerous woman there is. She is the most brutal. Dana White talks about her. I think it's Lucia Riker. She is the... she spars with men, and she's been in the ring with some, not the Tysons or whatever, and they whooped her. I mean, really, knocked her out and hurt her. So do you think so? I'd love to ask her. Listen, Scamala, who writes this stuff for you? You don't believe this. I know you don't believe this. Who writes this for you? Is it Soros? Is it Open Society? Is it Klaus Schwab? I think he said, who writes this for you? What are you talking about? And you mean to tell me, let's talk about your pick out of all of it. And I know why you didn't want Josh Shapiro. Come on, Cammy. We know all about that. What does Big Doug think about that, huh? Big Doug, Mr. Hot to Trot, hot for teacher. Mm-hmm. I know that's right. That man is crazy. Thank you, Gary. So let me ask you this question. What do you think about this? It was because he's Jewish, right? Is that it? And you pick this guy? Oh, he's so affable. Oh, I love him. He's so real. They call him Coach or Quatch. Oh, he's a coach. And he's such and he's so Don't you love me? He got a roly-poly dances and he's so cute. He does so, God, he's so cute. Really? Puts a tampon machine in the boy's room. Why? Because he's a leftist suck-up who has no soul. Meanwhile, poor girls, as Mrs. L talked about it on her live stream today, there's period poverty. Girls who don't have access to or money for feminine products that they need because they're girls. And nobody cares about that. It's just bizarre. But here's the best one. So, Kamala, let me ask you a question. If old coach there, Tampon Timmy, decides to call it, to call off the National Guard, which, by the way, he supposedly is such a part of the National Guard. Don't you remember? Don't you remember? He was a command sergeant major. Oh, no, he wasn't. He was a master sergeant. Before he quit, before he knew all about the deadly accuracy of assault weapons, before he walked into battle. Where? In Rochester, Minnesota? Where did he walk into battle? What, St. Paul? What are you talking about? Well, before he taught people. No, he left right before his unit was deployed because he wanted to run for Congress. Remember that? He cut and run. Then he lied. So he's basically both AWOL and stolen valor. He takes off and quits. How do I know he's not going to quit? If something happens to you or we need him to do whatever the position he wants to do. And what do you think about somebody who turns their back on the biggest city because you don't want to give in to these BLM Antifa terrorists? That's what it's about. You spineless, atesticular, imprisoned gelding. We need a guy with C.O. Jones who looks these people and says, you're not going to do that in here. I don't give a damn what your cause is. You're not going to destroy property. You're not going to kill people. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. But he did. And even his wife said, I opened up the windows and I could smell the waft of burning of a burning city. These people are demented. But no, he's so affable. He's looks like roly-poly Wilford Brimley. And he Santa. He looks like Santa, doesn't he, without the beard? Oh, that's our Timmy. He's a schmuck. Sparky says, by the way, there's certainly nothing wrong with being a Pullman porter. But I should point out, comparing them to MLK Sr. carrying himself so well, he commanded respect even from races, diluted the point. No, I think it was a different story, but it was a different story. Boy, that was a reference back. People are saying, what's he talking about the Pullman porter? Did I miss something with the Pullman porter? What is he talking about? I don't know. Did I miss something? No, that was this morning. No, I was talking about something else. That's all. But that's a different story. But thank you. Now, the bottom line is simply this. As we speak, right now, there are 87 days. What do you think is going to happen at the convention? Is Biden going to speak at the convention? Are they going to have the convention? Is it going to be, what is it going to be? Is it going to be what? Virtual? Is it going to be, what are they going to do?
They said they're limiting celebrities, so it's not elitist.
Oh, they're limiting celebrities, so it's not elitist. Do you see that picture, by the way, of George Clooney and Amal kissing? Would you stop it? We all know the story. I'm going to leave it at that. All right. Mr. Coolbizer says he should bring Michaela Montgomery, then say, I'm sorry, she is going to be the first woman president. Michaela Montgomery. I'm sorry, she is going to be the first woman president. You got me there. Let me see here before I comment on this one. Okay. You got to work with, okay. I love the comment of that. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not familiar with that one. So I don't want to pretend I know what that meant, but thank you. I don't know what that meant. I have no idea. what that meant. Biden pulled off state. Biden is going to have to do something. Oh. And can you imagine? And by the way, thank you for that. Do you know who's going to be the worst of them all? Who is going to be who is so PO now? Beyond anything you can imagine? That is, of course, Jill. Judas Goat says, Walls and his Marie Antoinette wife, let them smell tires. Ooh, very good. Is so cringy. He reminds me of a deranged Muppet. This is a guy too. It's like, are you kidding me? You can't answer the question. Sparky says, did you see where the U.S. regime changed Bangladesh a few years ago? So far, they've failed in Venezuela. Yes, I did. Now, do you think, Sparky, that might be a good topic for Kamala? You think Kamala might want to break into one lava like that? What do you think about that, Kamala? I don't know. My God. Maybe she'll break. Who knows? Because, she's such a chameleon. A chameleon. Whatever. Don't even push that one. The whole world right now is watching us and laughing its ass off. That's the sad part. And I wish Trump would say, you know what? I'm going to end with something big. I would end with something. I would say, Madam Vice President, you've got one hell of a nerve daring to claim to be able to run for this office, which I know a little something about. When you can't put together a sentence, you've run from the press, you've run from everybody. So do me a favor, face it. Answer this question. You don't know the first thing about this, do you? Seriously. You don't know the first thing about this. I've asked you two questions right now. The world's going to say, what do you think? What do we do about Israel? What are we going to do? What's the position? You're going to maintain the Biden, which is identical to Trump? Yeah. So you agree with President Trump? Tell your leftist constituents, and while you're at it, tell the rest of the world that you think men are different from women. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell people. Tell people somehow. Where did this, and by the way, Cam, where did this come from? Do you, dear friends, remember something a while back? Do you remember? In 2016, all of a sudden, they were talking about unisex bathrooms. You remember that? And I kept thinking to myself, why are they bringing up bathrooms? We've got to have new legislation that deals with the notion of bathrooms. Why? Is this a problem? I mean, I don't. Is it? What are you talking? What? Women should be able to go to the. Do you want a woman to go into the men's room? No, we want a trans woman. You mean a woman? I'm trans man. Is that it? Somebody who looks like a man? Yeah. Go into the men's room. Nobody's gonna. Might have a hard time at the urinal, but go ahead. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna be gonna. Who even looks? I never understood this. I'm dead serious. It's like, are you talking about a woman in a dress wants to come into a men's room? No. You're talking about a trans man or woman or a man wants to go into the ladies' room? Is he going to bother anybody if he looks like it? Does it matter? I mean, I guess it does. Who's paying attention? But anyway, is this a problem? Are there so many? And I remember the time thinking, are there so many trans men out there that we've got, by God, we got to get to the bottom of this. These men, what are you talking about? And then that was the precursor to this. This is a story. Sparky says, a few days ago, not years, unfortunately, most in the U.S. don't care what happens overseas, unless their CIA curated Facebook newsfeed or the MSM tells them to. Oh, absolutely. Sparky, what do you think is the reason? Why do you think? How do so many people? You have no idea when it comes to the notion of what's happening in Israel. I don't care about what people's opinion is. I want to know, do you have the slightest idea of what's happening? Do you have the slightest idea of what this is all about? And I have some friends, one in particular, who is as left as you can be, happens to be Jewish, cannot answer anything about what's going on. Anything. I said, do you realize, are you aware that Joe Biden's position and Donald Trump's are virtually identical regarding Israel? Do you like that or not? Yes or no? Well, what's your position? I can't answer the question. Are you're a leftist? Yeah. Do you think that people the reason why I'm asking the question is because irrespective of what you feel, they can't answer the question. Do you believe that somebody who believes that there is genocide or a massacre or a war crime or genocide or apartheid or ethnic cleansing, do you believe they're anti-Semitic? And I asked my friend this, who's Jewish. I said, do you believe this? What do you think about Jews who believe that's true? Are they anti-Semitic? Do they not like Jews? Do you know what you're talking about? Do you think there should be rules on college campuses that says that students cannot evince or enunciate or describe a particular feeling that they have against what's going on in Israel, lest they lose their privileges and be blacklisted and they can't go to work for a big law firm? Do you think this blatant attack on free speech makes sense? Is this what you're talking about? Do you understand this? Do you follow any of this? Do you see what's happening? And then I asked somebody, do you see what's happening in the UK? Are you for that happening here? What does free speech mean to you? What does free speech mean to you? What if somebody calls it, yeah, but that's hate speech? Define hate speech. They can't define hate speech. They can't define an assault weapon. They can't define anything. They have these ideas. They just want to shut you up. And whatever it is that they think will do the trick, they'll go along with it. Speech means nothing to them. Freedom means nothing. Liberty means nothing. The flag, they stand for nothing. But they love to restrict. And remember, none of them, and this is the best part, they are so bad at this, they actually sit back and allow their political party to be upended and to be held hostage by a group of people evincing such a radical agenda regarding specifically this transgenderism that nobody is in favor of. Nobody. I am telling you. Sparky says, Bangladesh voted against Israel at the UN and was about to join BRICS. The puppet being installed went to school in the US. Well, it's interesting. Speaking of the BRICS thing, do you have any idea, Sparky? Do you have any idea of how many people? I'm dead serious. If we walk to Times Square right now, which is right over there, not too far, and we offered $1,000, do you think any American or foreign would understand what BRICS mean and what the aspects of this is? No, they wouldn't understand. Look, let me explain to you this much. It's a very, very simple thing. They're going, as we speak, they're going to ballot harvest. They know every trick in the book. And I have been telling you, I want to hear, where is Lara Trump, who supposedly got this head of the GOP, RNC, whatever the hell it is? She should be out there every single day exposing this. Why do I have to go to Dom Luker to find out what's going on? What is she doing? She's too busy going on Fox. She's too busy. What is with this? And when I heard the other day Trump had engine trouble, makes me think, Sparky, you mentioned about Iran. Remember that engine trouble with that outdated helicopter, which is still functional, still used all over the world. Do you think these people would try something again with Trump? No, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Look what happened last time. Nothing. Look what happened. They threw Cheeto. She probably has her money in a Swiss bank account somewhere. I'm out of here. Plus was responsible for tossing the blow they found in the White House? I hope to God President Trump knows. I hope his ninjas know what's going on. When is the moment you remember the phrase hate speech entering the culture? Right around the time hate crime came about. The word hate. Hate, as though it might have been, I think it was in the 80s. It was a PC was that kind of a lovely, kind of a vague, kind of a generic version for a non-specific limitations of speech at the time. Then hate crime came about. Hate crime was my favorite. Hate crime is taking a crime which is cognizable at law, battery, murder. Well, murder kind of moved at this point, but arson, trespass, criminal mischief, burglary, vandalism, whatever, and taking it and then aggravating, raising the degree of the offense by virtue of the motivation. What was the motivation behind this? Sparky says not only will they not know what BRICS is, they won't be able to find Bangladesh or East Pakistan, for that matter, on a map. You must watch. I hope you watch OIN one. No, WON. No, one World Network, OWN. I forgot it was with Palki Sharma, and now she's on Post, or I forget. Palki Sharma, some of the greatest stuff ever. In addition to the other aspects of this. But going back to the speech thing, and thank you for that, Sparky. The speech thing was taking something that was cut, which was protected, and that is hate, thought, disagreement, dislike. You can hate anybody you want. You can be as prejudiced as you want. You can say anything as long as you don't ever objectify that particular thought. So they take something which is already cognizable at law, and they aggravate it by adding on something which is constitutionally protected. And they basically created what am I trying to say? They create an unconstitutional version of a law, of a criminal statute, which people say, well, it makes sense to me. And I've never understood. What if somebody was a bad hate crime person? What if somebody said, a black family moved in down the street. Yeah, I'm going to show them. I'm going to burn a Christmas tree on their front lawn. You say, what? I'm going to burn a Christmas tree on their front lawn. What does that mean? Well, that's my hate crime. George Lennon says the subway gunman, Bernie Goetz, hate crime. No, that's called... that was, remember the quote, vigilantism. I don't think he went after them because they were black. I think it was because they were trying to rob him. But you're right, though. They tried to portray him as some kind of a racist because he dared to object to people robbing him at screwdriver point or whatever it was. But what if I decided to, for example, burn a Christmas tree? And somebody said, what is that? I don't know. That's my hate crime. So what if the hate crime is not readily identifiable? What if I were to spray paint on a Jewish temple the Mogen David, the Star of David? Aren't you supposed to... Wait a minute. That's not what you spray. It's the other. What? What if you target somebody because of a group or a class, but it's not out of animus? Like that famous case where this guy targeted these gay people who were meeting every Friday night, and he targeted them and he robbed them because he thought gay people wouldn't fight back. It's not because he hated gay people. He just thought there would be an opportune victim targeting, like somebody targets the elderly, or like some men target women. The crime makes no sense. But the reason why the left like it is anything that chips away, anything that eventually affects the sanctity of the First Amendment, anything that does that, they're all for it. It absolutely makes the most sense. My friends, we have our work cut out for us. But one part of our work is for me to thank the great George Lennon. Sparky, you were magnificent tonight, sir. Jonathan Kiner, thank you so much. I appreciate that immensely. Judas Goat Barbecue, Mr. Cool Miser, Gary Johnson, everybody, Crypto Domini, Big Dick from Chicago. Thank you so much. Edie Crowley, we love you. Kevin, Judas Go Barbecue, and Freedom, and of course, Johnny Maz. We call him Maz the Spaz in the old days. Nelson A. Albania Hernandez, Philip Chervoni, and of course, Kelly McKinnon, a brand new member. There you go with that one. So, my friends, one more thing. Sparky says, I think I got the Bangladesh news from Nico House or Brian Berletic. Can't remember at the moment. Well, my friends, we are going to, Sparky, I'm going to make sure you are going to be our Bangladesh bureau chief when it comes to this. Because if you don't think a country with about 2 billion people is critical, don't forget what Mearsheimer says. The calculus of greatness, of size, of worth, of power is number one, population plus military strength. Also, dear friends, I want to thank you for following, being a part of our live stream, Mrs. L's inaugural live stream. You were phenomenal. I thank you so much for your kindness and your love and your respect. Let me also give you the information of where you can find her and her. What am I trying to say? To find her and her YouTube channel and her X or Twitter account. And it is right there. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Thank you for that. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. I mean that sincerely. We will talk tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Don't ever change it. Yes, 8 a.m. And until then, remember, don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da-da.